Hello and welcome back to Queen of Parks podcast, where we're talking theme parks, we're talking around the world, and today we're talking Christmas. And it's the most amazing thing to go to a Disney park during Christmas. And these parks in other countries have some pretty special things planned. It's a little bit different going to different parts of the world. And sometimes we don't really think about when we're going to a Disney park how different because of culture things can be. So I thought it'd be a good idea to talk about that first. I've had some personal experiences. The only park we haven't been to yet is Shanghai, and we're trying to head on out there this summer. But customer service at all the parks are pretty awesome, but obviously there's going to be some differences in how you communicate. Paris is pretty much like here because it's westernized culture. When you go to Hong Kong and Tokyo, I mean, everybody you're going to interact with at customer service is going to be speaking very good English, but there is a little bit of differences, obviously, in etiquette in the way that they um, talk to you and the way you might respond back. And it's a good idea before you go to one of these foreign parks to do a little bit of homework about that sort of thing. In Tokyo, people are very soft spoken, very polite, and I think we're just a lot for them. I think that's true in a lot of different places that we go to. And sometimes you really do notice that when, we're out there and you see other Americans in the wild and we can be pretty loud. Like you do notice that. So like when you're on the trains and stuff, and especially in your Asian countries like Hong Kong and Tokyo, and I would assume Shanghai as well, being that it's, another part of China, people are very like, it's more about everybody else. So, which it should be here. But anyway, you know, train etiquette, everyone's just like keeps to themselves. They don't really make eye contact. They're not having loud conversations with each other. And here I feel like no matter where you are, you might be taking a phone call if you're on public transportation or in an Uber with your Uber driver or, talking to your friend or your family. Like you don't really think about it. I mean, you can observe that just like on the Disney buses or on the monorail. It's perfectly normal. Or even to like talk to your neighbor, like somebody sitting next to you. You might strike up a conversation at the grocery store. Over there, that's not really happening. So, and also just like knowing where you're supposed to be walking at the train stations, that was something we found kind of daunting. Like you're in the way, This is a very touristy place and obviously tourism is a big part of their, how they make money and whatnot. But it's a good idea to just like know some of the social stuff before you go so that we're not just out there essentially pissing everybody off. So the train station, it's like have your stuff together and just kind of be observant of everyone around you and what they're doing. And that's probably what you're supposed to be doing. So we had I feel like we did homework, but I feel like we learned a lot too, just kind of being there. Clothing at the parks. I feel like here, Athwear, super popular. There's all those cute like Athwear dresses. Um, you know, Obviously like sleeveless. Um, Sometimes sports bras. Which I think Disney would rather you didn't, and I know they're cracking down on that some, but I still see some of that. But especially when you're going to like Hong Kong, Tokyo, you're going to cover up a little bit more, be a little bit more conservative. I mean, that's how the styles are obviously very different, how they dress there. France is more like here, I think, because of social media and what have you. I noticed the last time we were in Europe, where it used to be exciting to go there because you'd be like, you could get some cool stuff that like you couldn't get here. And it was fun to come back and like have something fun and new, like the trends were a little bit different. But I think just again, because of social media, I feel like now we're pretty much the same. I mean, people over there in Athwear, Crocs, like all the same stuff that we thought, oh, we'll be able to grab this. I think the Nike Air Maxes, or I can't remember what they're called now, the dunks or whatever. Don't all the whoever young people listening, don't make fun of me. Or you can, but anyway, I'm not gonna hear it. But anyway, we thought, oh, we'll be able to definitely find these here. I think my daughter was after a pair. And then of course, like every single thing that was popular here, like the midi Ugg boots, like the Nike, whatever those are called. Everything was like sold out, all the same items. And like when I looked around in town, everybody's wearing what we're wearing, you know. So that was interesting. And I mean, a lot of these places are, obviously they're international hubs. So there's people traveling and living there from all over the place. So obviously that contributes to it too. But I think social media has really just kind of changed that. Like it's a little bit less exciting that way. One of the things that really stood out to me though, when we were in the Paris park, and I didn't come across this in anything that I read, and I was really jarred by it, was the smoking at Disneyland. If you smoke, whatever. That's not even what I'm talking about. Like, live your life. But I mean, it's weird to see it inside of Disneyland. So they have like these smoking areas, and it's just like, the kids are in the stroller, the parents puffing away, and it's like a cloud. It's kind of like at the airport where they used to have those like glass, fish bowls that they would shove the smokers in. It was just like a big hazy, smoke bubble. It's like that, but it's weird again because it's at Disneyland. It's just so strange. Now I will say the French were like, we will build this park and it will be beautiful, but we are not giving up our cigarettes and we will also not be giving up our wine. And that one I'm on board with. But yeah, it's easier to, in general. I mean, we're definitely getting like more, bar areas, and I'm not here to get into the debate of whether we should have that or not or whatever. I think if you drink responsibly, you're not there to get, plastered with your family. I mean, you're on vacation, like, have a beverage, enjoy yourself if that's what you're into. But over there, it's a little bit more norm. It's you're more locations to get stuff like that, and so that's kind of different. Personal space. I don't know if you've ever been to like, an international grocery store, like, and you feel like, oh my gosh, can these people not see that I'm like over here trying to put my veggies in the bag? Like, back off, lady. You know what I mean? That's like a culture thing. They're not being rude. That's just kind of like where they're from, how that is. So personal space is a little different. And the other thing that we talked about was, and this we noticed more in Hong Kong more than anywhere. And I did notice it in Tokyo too. But when somebody is like got a cold, like you'd think because you always see them wearing the face coverings everywhere still, and even like on the airports and stuff, that they would be like not germaphobes, but just like more aware. No, these people are hacking all over the place, barely covering their mouth. Like you're just like, what am I getting right now? So there's that. And there's some other things that we're going to come across. One thing in all of this that I noticed that I thought was so kind of weird. I shouldn't say weird. It was different. Okay. All the parks for Christmas, spoiler alert, like every single park, you can meet Santa. And that's really fun and cool. And it's Christmas. So yeah. At Shanghai Disney, there is an actual like line about that when you go to meet Santa that's like, keep your greeting short and sweet. And that's just really interesting because like here you can wait in line for a long time. And trust me, like just side note, I appreciate that, go see Santa, have your little interaction, have your photo taken. But, it's not the mall, it's Disney. So there's like thousands of people there. Like move it along, tell them what you want and go. But it is different because like our parks don't do anything like that. It's just like once you get up there, and this is the flip side of what I'm saying too. So I'm always going to feel like I'm going to be like, no, I feel like really strongly about this, but also I can see it from this side. That's me all day, which is really annoying. But I also kind of like really glad that once you've waited for however long you waited to see a character, Santa, whoever it is, that, they're going to take their time with you and, make your family feel special. And, it's just like a very personalized experience. For example, if they're giving your child a hug, you know, they're not going to break the hug. They're going to wait till the child pulls away. And I have a feeling in Shanghai, they're going to be like, okay, sweetie, that was fun. Move it along. You know what I mean? But anyway, I just thought that was interesting. I had never read that before. And so they're the only ones that, if you go see Santa, say hello and then move it along, sister. You know what I mean? So we're going to kick it off in France. And we're going to go to Disneyland Paris. Disneyland Paris is started November 8th, and it goes through January 6th. And we're talking specifically about the Disneyland park. The weather, though, in Paris, their high is 45, and the low is 36. Okay? It is damp. The wind be windy, and snow is possible but rare, which I've heard that when it does snow there at Christmas time, because the way that the park is decorated and, their castle is, it's probably one of my, I think it could be, I don't have favorite things, but it's up there. It's up there close to one for me. I just think it's so beautiful. It's just very different. Like, I don't know. I feel like between, like, Tokyo's is almost an exact replica of the Cinderella Castle. One of them's shorter, and I hate that I can't tell you which one now, but I'm not even going to guess because I'm going to be wrong. But like even like the Hong Kong and Tokyo, no, not Tokyo, Hong Kong and Shanghai. Shanghai looks like a monster. Like I really can't wait to see that castle, but even Hong Kong's is like, and can I just say, I know I'm getting like really off topic now. I'm going to circle back, don't worry. Hong Kong's castle is so cool because like when you're there, the mountains behind it, the views behind it are like unlike anything. It's like incredible. But anyway, yeah, so the Paris park is gorgeous. The castle is beautiful. And so they do the Enchanted Christmas all the way through the 6th of January. Mickey's Dazzling Christmas Parade. The floats for this look amazing. And it is a newer parade. And they do a Christmas tree lighting. There's a musical show called Let's Sing Christmas, and it's in French and in English. And it's a beautiful show. And they all have like their gorgeous kind of Victorian, old-fashioned costumes, like Mickey and Friends. There's a choir, like a huge choir. And Mickey during that show is going to be like the French speaking, and Minnie is going to be speaking in English. This is really cool because obviously you're taking your family or you're going to experience a different culture, but it is a interesting way to do it when you go to the parks because, it's playing very much to our parks because they got it from us. So there's a lot of similarities and things that feel very much, Main Street USA, like stuff like that. So it is nice to see the cultural aspect. So when you're watching the show, you'll think, well, I'm not going to be able to understand that. And maybe I need to wear a translator in my ear, whatever. But when you're watching these shows and like the projection show and the castle is similar, you can very much follow along with what's going on. And you'd be surprised, like your young children will be able to too. They know the stories pretty much that are being shown on the castle for one. So like if it's Peter Pan and Wendy, I think I can't remember which one spoke French. It was Peter or Wendy, and I can't remember who. But the other person's speaking English, and so they're going to pick up on the story and what's going on because they probably know Peter Pan, the story. And then on top of that, one person speaking English, you can use context clues. You're going to be surprised how much it's pretty easy to keep up. And it's fun to hear it in a different language too, because you most likely know the story. So that's really neat. Great music. There's some classics in there, classic Christmas songs. And then there's some fun, like newer ones that they threw in there too. Like, Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas Is You is done. And I just thought that was so fun. I was watching the show and I was like, oh, I really want to go watch this show. Um, and then you have some different characters in there too, Goofy, Clarabelle, and then the ones that you normally see, Daisy Donald. Um, Character encounters. They're going to be walk up, and there's going to have some with virtual queues. You can meet Santa and Mrs. Claus. You can meet Santa Stitch in Paris, which is super fun. And then Jack Skellington as Sandy Claus, and that's really cool too. And he's going to be a virtual queue. I mean, he's a popular guy everywhere. So it's going to be kind of like here trying to meet Jack for something. There's going to be a line. It's nice to have a virtual queue. Princess Aurora and Prince Philip are also featured. And I know you can also meet Belle in her like winter dress. So that's fun. Lavazza, a renowned Italian coffee brand, is the featured sponsor this year. And they have done some decorations and you can kind of see little touches. It's done very tastefully, but the Lavazza logo is kind of throughout Main Street, and they've done a gazebo as well, like a really beautiful gazebo with lighting and everything in there as well. So Disney Dreams of Christmas is going to be their fireworks show. It's a nightly holiday themed version of Disney Dreams, which is their current fireworks show when it's not Christmas. And the projections are on that beautiful Sleeping Beauty castle, and they're going to have pyrotechnics, and it's now through January 6th. And again, it's going to be in French and English. You know what? Most of us are not going to be out here to see this. So go watch a video of this. I cried. I was like, it's really cool. Go check that out. Anna's going to be in French, or Anna, sorry. And Elsa is going to be in English. I was fully tearing up watching the show. It's so beautiful, and they just do the best job with storytelling, and it's definitely worth a watch. Watch it with your kids, stream it on the TV or something. It's really cool. You guys can have like maybe a little Paris night. That's another idea. Yeah, maybe it would be fun to watch like a different show, because obviously you can get anything now on YouTube and stuff, and maybe like do a little theme night for each one or something. I don't know. Bring the Disney magic into your home. It'll cost you nothing. Okay, so now we're going to move on. We're going to fly all the way over to Hong Kong. And Hong Kong's is Let the Party Glow On. And it's from November 14th through January 4th. Their hours are a little different. They're opening at 10 a.m. and they're closing at 9:45. The thing about Hong Kong, though, is, and I remember seeing the hours and I was like, oh, man, that's just like so early, But they don't get the crowds like we do. Christmas might be obviously it's going to be busier, but they don't get the crowds like we do. So it's really nice walking around those parks. Oh my gosh, I loved it. First of all, like I said before, the castle with the mountains, you're so used to walking through the park and everything's done a certain way. So there's a lot of forced perspective and stuff like that. This is just surrounded by natural beauty. Your pictures of the castle are it's just awesome. But they do have that whole, frozen world of Frozen area there as well. So Hong Kong, it's interesting, that park. It's like a little peppering of our parks. Like there was a little area that reminded me of Animal Kingdom. And another thing is their Jungle Cruise has an English version, like a line you can stand in if you want the English version. And then there was a line for probably their native speakers. But I thought that was really neat and thoughtful, And we did go in the English speaking line. And it was interesting because their jokes don't really cross over. I think maybe the delivery, because these are not probably naturally speaking English people, obviously delivering the jokes. They kind of didn't quite hit, but it was still awesome. And the rides here are really cool. We'll have another day in Hong Kong because there's just a lot of really cool stuff over there going on. But they have a lot to offer, and their Christmas, I was even surprised again because there's Christmas around the world, I suppose. But here, I feel like we really do up Christmas. But at the parks, I was really impressed with how much they had going on at all of these parks around the world. And I would be happy to be at any single one of them, let me tell you. The weather here, the high is 68 and the low is 59. If I had to pick a park for Christmas, this one would probably be it because Paris might be a little chilly for me. Tokyo's the same. And when it's cold and you're like walking around the park, it's still fun, but you're also just like really uncomfortable, you know? Anyway, they have the World of Frozen Christmas Wonderland with festive winterscape, snow, decorations, Anna, Elsa, Olaf, Kristoff, and a fun little Kristoff's Fantastic Surprise happening over there. There's the Holiday Wish Come True, which is their annual tree lighting ceremony, and it's on Main Street, USA. It's kind of getting back to that whole how Americanized a lot of these parks, well, the parks are, because, you know, they would to experience what we're doing. So guests make a wish and make it come true by copying Santa Goofy's magical movements. And it leads into Momentous Party in the Night Sky, which is their nighttime spectacular. This looks insane. I saw some video clips of this. It looks insane. This is another one that, like, I would just like throw up on the TV and watch. There's drone performance inspired by the 20th anniversary and Disney's Frozen. There's Christmas songs. These drone shows like are crazy. They're just unbelievable. And I know we're starting to see that here now too, but theirs are next level. So definitely check that out. Disney Christmas Live in Concert is a musical celebration featuring Santa, Goofy, Mickey, and friends. Cinderella Carousel, they're going to do like a little bit of an overlay. So it's going to be decorated with festive lights for the season, which sounds really, really cute. Ye Old Christmas Market, that sounds like a lot of fun. So they're going to be offering seasonal treats and holiday food. The Main Street Corner Cafe is going to give a traditional American Christmas set dinner, and I would love to experience what that would look like over there. Victorian-style dining, festive drinks, and a cozy atmosphere. Doesn't that sound lovely? There is going to be a reserved viewing spot for Santa Goofy's Magical Snowfall if you go through that. And then Shanghai Disney. Shanghai Disney has their Frostival. They transform the park into a winter wonderland. The weather highs there around 50 and the lows are around 37, and it's damp and cold. No, thank you. Disney Winter Magical Cavalcades. I miss the cavalcades. I love the cavalcades because the parades are always so fun. I like to watch a show. But it's kind of nice because the cavalcades, like, you're just wandering around the park and all of a sudden the music changes and a cavalcade comes, like a cute little float comes by with, like, you know, all the princesses or, you know, Frozen or whatever the theme they're doing. And then it's done. Goes away. You can just get on with your whole day, you know? So it's like, it's fun that it's spontaneous. So there's not like a ton of congestion with crowds somewhere. And then it's just like a little sprinkle of magic. And I love that. I think that would be, let's bring that back, you know? I love it. The other fun thing about the parks in Japan and in China are the different kinds of characters that you see. Like the characters that they like over there, you know, are ones that we kind of don't really see here. So you're going to have Duffy and Friends. And I guess that's kind of who I'm talking about. But then they've also made Lotso this like cute character in their minds. And he's really like the bad guy. It's just interesting because I feel like Lotso's kind of glorified over there. And they make him like in a pastel color and just very like less threatening. And they love him. You know, you just don't really see that here. It's fun. They have a Frozen cavalcade, a Frozone, which we love. That's so cool. Nick and Judy Hopps from Zootopia. Mickey's. Oh, and on that note, you know, they do have that whole Zootopia area, which is super cool. And Nick Wilde and Judy Hopps are wearing their, if you've seen the second movie, they're like fancy, like party clothes, you know. Oh, she looks so cute. I just love it. So fun. Mickey's Storybook Adventure, a magical journey through Disney tales. This is like a little show you can go see. Mickey and Goofy need to help Olaf get back to his story before he melts. That is a little concerning. But they do go through different stories like The Jungle Book, Moana, Tangled, Zootopia, Princess and the Frog, and then there's a big Frozen finale. I'm guessing he doesn't melt. So, spoiler alert. That's good because we love Olaf. We don't want him to melt. And then there is their nighttime celebration called Illuminate, and it features over 80 characters from more than 40 films, including Disney, Marvel, and Pixar. Projection mapping, they all have that. That's where for people that haven't maybe experienced it, it's really incredible. They kind of, on the castle and a lot of times on the storefronts, they will take and blend different kinds of, multimedia shots from movies, different things. And it's like you're watching the actual castle change into different facades. I mean, it literally looks sometimes like it's completely like not the same castle. It's incredible what they're doing, and I'm doing a terrible job explaining it, but just like go watch a video. It's amazing. Christmas Swing. Live holiday music show, multiple performances, Mickey and friends in their holiday outfits. Character greetings, you're going to have Mickey, Minnie, Duffy, and Shelley May in their festive attire. You can meet Santa Goofy as well. And then the one that I thought was really fun is the 100 Acre Wood characters, Pooh and friends, in their winter outfits. And their winter outfits are darling. Check it out. Disneytown Christmas Market and Tree Trail Shopping District on weekends and holidays starting December 12th, and you can meet Santa there. And this is where the website suggests you keep your greetings short and sweet. Tokyo Disneyland, our final stop. Tokyo Disneyland started November 11th, and it goes through December 25th. The weather there, the high is 50, the low is 40. It's cold and dry, possible snow. Tokyo, I like to think I'm prepared when I go on these trips, but we are freezing. And that was in October, and it did snow. It was and it snowed in Fantasy Springs, which is where the frozen area is. And we were frozen, and it snowed. So Elsa was doing her thing over there, and it was we were so ill prepared. So for all of these events, I would say, including Hong Kong, you can throw them in your park bag, gloves, because our hands were going to fall off. And guess what they don't have in the stores? Gloves. I mean, they might for specifically the winter season, but when your hands are cold, there's nothing you can do. You're just, it's horrible. I thought my fingers were going to fall off, but they didn't. Thank God. Yeah, so pack accordingly, especially for the littles, but also for you, because my goodness, can you enjoy anything when you're freezing your butt off? No, you can't. So Tokyo Disneyland, they have their Toys Wondrous Christmas, which is a new parade featuring toys coming to life and joining Mickey and friends. And doesn't that sound fun? And Tokyo Disneyland Electrical Parade Dreamlights, they're doing a special Christmas version. It's like our electrical parade on steroids. It's awesome. And I would love to see this Christmas version. Sometimes I don't want to watch the spoilers, but I'm am I really going to be over there anytime soon for Christmas? I mean, I hope so. I put it on my Christmas list every year. But part of me is I would go. I definitely want to be there for Christmas. Why lie? But also I hate being cold. So there's that. But anyway, so they also have Starbright Christmas, which is a park-wide fireworks spectacular with Christmas music. And they specifically say it is 5 minutes long. I'm that is zero time. But that sounds fun, and I like that you can literally be pretty much anywhere in the park and you're going to be able to have a good view. You don't have to all go, smash around the castle or anything. And then there's the Jingle Bell Jamboree, which is a Christmas version of the Country Bear Show. I feel that the Country Bears are a nostalgia thing for people. Or they just really like it and I should mind my own business. But I've seen it and it just looks like a really old show. And I'm going to be very unpopular now. And I wish I wouldn't have said that out loud, but oh well. But this one looks really cool if you're into the Country Bears. It looks very expansive, shall we say. That's kind of how I felt about that whole park in general. Even the rides they had I feel bad. When we went there, I was every time in my family was all done with me. they were all done. I was like, every single ride, including like the Snow White, like the Fantasyland rides, all that. I was like, oh, it's just like our ride, except blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. I feel like I did that in Paris too. Because it was like, we kind of had the original sauce over here. And then those parks opened up later. And also, they had more money to play with. So they did. They took what we had and then they sprinkled more money on it. And also, planned for bigger crowds, knowing how popular it was going to be based on our parks. And so these rides are like incredible. I mean, Tokyo, animatronics, rides, what they offer, incredible. But I also really loved Hong Kong, and I'm sure there's something at every park that's just different. I don't feel like there's like one park better than the other. But you get an opportunity to go, like if you're already going somewhere. This is the other thing. So France, the Paris park, their prices are going up, and they're going to look similar to ours after March 29th, I think, whatever the date is for that new expansion to open over there. But before that, I think if you were there, I mean, it's so cheap to go in the parks over there. It's like, I think when we went to Paris, it was like $65 or something a person. I mean, we could never, right? And then the same is true of Hong Kong. And it's also true in Tokyo. Like, it's just not as expensive. And I will say this. A lot of people are like, oh, you should go to the foreign parks. They're so much cheaper. I'm like, okay, calm down. Like, you still have to, pay to fly internationally. And you're probably going to stay longer because you're on a 10 to 16-hour flight, depending on where you're coming from and where you're going, or 20. I think to get to Hong Kong, for us, it was like a 21-hour situation, which is the longest we've ever experienced. And we were fine. We made it through, but it's not nothing. I know that stops a lot of people from going, but I don't know. I feel like if you get the opportunity, unless you have like an extreme fear of flying, which I totally understand that. You know what I mean? I think just go. Whatever park it is, or if you're already going to Paris, or if you for whatever reason you find yourself less likely, but maybe in Hong Kong or Tokyo or whatever. A lot of people are traveling to Tokyo though. You can just go for a day and just pick one of the parks and go to it. And I don't think you'd be disappointed. I don't think it'd be a waste of your trip. And they all are so different that, and especially if you're a Disney fan, you should absolutely go. They are phenomenal. The shows are phenomenal. The cast members are lovely. And it's such an experience, just to go to one of those international parks. So if you get the opportunity, absolutely go. And if you get the opportunity at Christmas time, then you are lucky. And I want to hear all about it. So anyways, thank you again for joining me. We are going to be coming back in a couple of weeks with our Epcot episode. And I'm just so happy and just touched by, the lovely comments people have made, and that you're even listening or watching. And I just really appreciate that. So thank you so much. You're a huge blessing to me. And I hope you have the most magical weekend. And getting this out this weekend for some reason was like an act of the Lord. Like, I got some new equipment. Everything was pissed off at me. Nothing was working. I had to return. It doesn't even matter. But anyways, I'm glad we made it and we're here and we're talking Christmas. I hope you're getting excited about the holidays, and I hope you take the time to jump on YouTube and watch some of these international parks, shows, parades, firework displays. They really are awesome. And they all have something different. Even the costuming, and the different, foods and stuff that you can get at these parks, and especially around Christmas time. It's really unique and special to where that Disney park is. And so it's just really wonderful to see. So get your kids around the couch or pour a glass of wine for yourself and enjoy these international Christmas at the Disney parks. I just want to let you know that if you haven't connected with me yet, I would love to see you over on Instagram, Cast the Magic Travel. I'll put all my socials in the show notes, TikTok, all that good stuff. So have a wonderful evening.